Welcome to the first episode of AVO Magazine Podcast. This is your host Francisca and I'm really excited to be able to start with this podcast. I hope you are too. Are you ready? I can't hear you. If all goes according to plan, this episode goes online on the 16th of May. Exactly 17 years ago, I decided to start with a web forum to talk about Japan-related topics. To be honest, it all started with anime and it grew out into Japanese music. I think this day is a perfect day to start with something new to celebrate the fact that AVO is still going strong. Last year we had to close down AVO forum. Since I was missing it, I decided to start a Discord server. You are more than welcome to join. Since we are celebrating the 17th birthday of AVO, maybe it is interesting to look into the history of AVO Forum, AVO Magazine, and the fact that I have been organizing several concerts and festivals. Lately, I have been diving deep into the history of many things, including my own family, so this will be very fitting. I hope you enjoy. We are going back 20 years ago. At that time, there were several anime series on the Dutch television. I started to get better internet step by step, and I was active on the Dutch anime forums. Super popular at that time. If I remember well, there were only a few places where we could talk about anime series. One big forum split up in two after a while, but that didn't matter at all, because anime was big at that time and people loved to talk about it anywhere. Sometimes I wrote articles for the now defunct website and forum Anime Network, not about music but about anime series, of course. That was a nice experience and I think that is the first time I was active as a writer for a news website. So that means that I started quite young with that. Interesting if I think about it right now. After a while, I decided that I wanted to start a forum by my own. 16th of May, exactly 70 years ago. After I took that step, some of my internet friends became a member of the forum, and that was the start of AVO Forum. Actually not. Since I initially came up with a different name, which name that was, I will leave in the middle. I think you might be able to find it out after a Google search. When starting a forum, I didn't think about what I should do. I wanted to see how it all works, and along the way I learned many new things to improve the forum. We had a number of meetings with forum members, from picnics and visiting museums. Really fun times. I really learned a lot at that time. I wanted to start a weblog for a while, and some people in my surroundings were against the idea, because what am I going to write about? I was thinking about sharing updates about AVO Forum and maybe some events, conventions maybe. But it was not clear enough, and this is the reason why I decided to not start a blog at that time. But it always was lingering around in my mind. With my personal blog, I had many visits, and people enjoyed my writings about personal stories, school, history, and even Japan-related topics. So, we are talking about 2012. I decided that it was really time to start a blog. And I called it AVO Blog. And a year later, I was celebrating 10 years of AVO with a festival. Really insane and unexpected if you ask me. At the time, I already had organized a few concerts, so I was not new in the music scene since I was someone who visited the concerts of the Japanese bands coming to the Netherlands, especially when the visual kei boom was big in Europe. But I was kind of new with the organizing thing. After a few years, I decided to rename the blog, and it became a webzine with the name AVO Magazine. I must admit, I was planning to change the name into something totally different and dropped the name AVO. But since a lot of people in the anime and Japanese music community in the Netherlands were aware of the name AVO, it would be difficult to work on that rebranding. But one thing is that I wanted to work on being more professional. The webzine is a good way to promote music, talk about other interesting Japan-related topics, but also I have been seen as the person who is most up-to-date with events, especially in the Netherlands. I have seen people pointing towards AVO Magazine for being the most up-to-date website in regards to events, in Europe of course. I feel honored when someone asks me for advice for events, when it should take place, or that an artist comes to me for advice about promotion or wants me to review a CD. Although that last one brings also a kind of pressure on my shoulders, so I prefer to buy the music myself and then decide if I am able to review it. I will never think that starting a forum so many years ago would bring me somewhere where I am right now. Being able to pick up a camera, making photos, interview musicians, although I still think I am not a great interviewer, but also that I'm able to organize events. In the meantime, I've been able to organize dozens of concerts and I have 2 festivals on my name. This reminds me of the latest interview that I published on AVO Magazine. I talked with Ryu of Some Yoshino and we were talking about making videos to share with his fans. He said, "The internet makes it all possible." And I agree. The internet is not always nice and happy, but it makes a lot of things possible. And I'm really grateful for this all. And I want to thank you for your support. Some are supporting AVO for many, many years, and I really appreciate that. I'm talking about those who were helping me with AVO Forum, but also the lovely writers and translators who are helping me now or have been helping me at AVO Magazine. And what about those who have been visiting the concerts of AVO and didn't mind to support the musicians by buying their merch? Let's talk more about the interviews. I've been working on a few interviews for AVO Magazine. Currently things are going slower and we know why that is. Some artists have more time than others, so slowly but surely I will publish the interviews. I have been able to talk with Kihiro. He was formerly the singer of rock band Loka. He is currently active solo, and with the current situation that is keeping the whole world active, it has been a bit more difficult for him, but also for other musicians. In the interview we talked about the current situation. And let's not forget about the interview that I had with Ryu of Some Yoshino about the current situation, being active on the internet and publishing videos. The lucky people living in the Netherlands, Belgium, France and Germany were able to see him live last October with his support guitarist Masa. Don't forget to read the interviews and support the musicians. A follow on social media or subscribing on their YouTube channel will help them a lot. Furthermore, I have been busy putting out articles about cancelled and postponed events, concerts, festivals. It is really breaking my heart, but there are also musicians who are trying their best to organize concerts or tours for the future, the near future. I have been making a list of all the cancellations and postponed events in Europe for AVO Magazine, and I might miss a few events, but looking at the list does not make me happy at all. But seeing the artists and event organizers working hard to organize online events, put out digital releases and live streams gives me the feeling that I need to support them all. With the overload of all those live streams, it is not possible to catch them all. Although you can watch some back after the live stream, luckily. I really hope the best for them, but also you, the listener, in these turbulent times. I really liked sharing the story about AVO with you, and with this story out of the way, there will be room for other interesting topics to focus on in the next episode. If you have suggestions, be sure to let me know. I haven't dived deep into the concert story, how that's all started, and interesting stories about the festivals, but if you are interested, I will talk about that in the future. If you enjoyed this podcast or if you want to support AVO Magazine, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our latest articles on AVO Magazine. There is a new review online and more coming up, but also a few interesting informative articles. The writers of AVO Magazine do like to put out interesting articles, so if you have some time, please do read them. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I thank you for your time and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay healthy and keep on listening to Japanese music. Until next time.